Calumet Editions, an eclectic publisher of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry, introduced a new business model nearly a decade ago, in which the publisher and author work as equal partners in a joint venture. Their stable of authors have won numerous and prestigious prizes across literary forms. Where traditional publishers fail to see the value in projects, Calumet cooperates with its authors in realizing a book's potential.
Welcome to Writer's Corner. I'm Alan Miller, and we have just celebrated last month our 3rd year anniversary here. Our guest today, who you're going to be seeing a lot more of in the future, Rob Jung.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what Rob is. He's a race car driver, fishing guide, explorer, dreamer, storyteller, writer. He earned a law degree from Harvard. He's an author. He has at least 4 books out that I know of. And he's also a publisher and producer. And on the 7th day, he rests.
Yeah, you hope.
Welcome, Rob.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. I hope there's one day in there for the rest. So.
Yeah. Now, I don't know where to start with you, but maybe we should start with this new book that is not even out yet. It's coming out this coming month.
Yeah, it is out. It's out in ebook form, but the print edition comes out May 18th.
The Kill Code Collective. Tell us about what this book is.
It's a medical thriller that is sort of in a very important aspect of medical device world, one that all the medical device manufacturers worry about. The book is about a tampering with medical devices, implants to be specific, and the ability to do that remotely, willy-nilly, with their own, at their own whim, without any guardrails. That's what the book is about. It's a thriller. What makes it unique, I guess,
very unique,
is that it was written by 5 authors. It was a cooperative effort of 5 different authors.
5 Minnesota thriller authors. And I have to say that we are blessed in Minnesota. We have more writing talent than probably per capita any place in the country. They're just a group of really talented writers, thriller writers, mystery writers, other writers, from William Kent Kruger and David Housewright right on down the line. There are people like me who writes books and then wonders why they don't sell, but
most of us, other than Kent and House, are wonder those things.
Yeah.
So that's the book that comes out. In fact, Kent wrote a review. It's on the front cover of the book. It says, "A smooth, fast-paced, thoroughly enjoyable medical thriller." That's what he calls it. I thought it was a pretty good book. For 5 people writing it, it's always a gamble.
I finished it yesterday. It is a really good thriller. There are a lot of twists. There are a lot of turns. You don't know really who the heavy is going to be toward the very end. But I don't understand. I have to mention, you each used your favorite character and you wove those favorite characters together into one book. I don't understand how you did it, how you ended up not killing each other in the writing of it, but give us the genesis of that.
Well, the idea belongs to Brian Luderman. Brian and I formed a group about 4 or 5 years ago called Midwest Mystery Works, and it's the 5 authors, 5 mystery thriller authors from Minnesota, all independently published. And it was Brian's idea to get together and write a book, to all of us. And so we spent a lot of time, we quickly came to the idea of each inserting one character from our existing work. And it took us a long time to figure out what the story was going to be, but then we finally decided on the medical issue of implant tampering. And then it was a long, laborious process of writing the story. We started the book each writing a short story with our character as the central protagonist in that story. And that story, those short stories all came to a head together. And from there, the group joined together and then went about dealing with the issues and trying to solve the criminal aspects of the book.
Writing a book individually is difficult enough because the characters take on their own personalities and you run into all sorts of roadblocks. Having 5 people who accomplish this is beyond my imagination.
Well, it was amazingly without tension. Everybody checked their ego at the door. Nobody was worried about, did I get enough word count? The smartest thing we did was the other 4 of us got together and said, if there's ever a thing we can't agree upon, we'll let Brian make the decision. And so Brian he was the chief cat wrangler in this, and he never really had to make any difficult decisions other than he made a couple for expediency purposes. But really it took a long time because we had, you had to get timelines jockeyed together and things like that. It took over 2 years to write the book. But
did you have meetings where all 5 of you met together?
All our meetings were by Zoom. So it was because two of the writers are not from the Twin Cities area. Chris Norbury is from Owatonna, and where is she from? One of the writers is from Arlington. Anyway, I just have a blank. Julie Holmes lives in Arlington.
Oh.
And so it would have been almost impossible to get together on a regular basis. But about every 6 weeks, we'd have a Zoom meeting, and sometimes to try to straighten things out. Sometimes just to go over what's been written and that sort of thing. So, but it came together and it came out. I got the advanced readers copies yesterday, which was timely for this.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
And it'll be available where?
It'll be available online at most of the online sources. It will be available at Once Upon a Crime Bookstore. We're having a book release party at Minnesota Mystery Night on the evening of May 18th at Lucky's in Mendota. And then we'll be doing a 2-week-long book tour, if you will, at various places. Bookstores, and ultimately it'll be at Once Upon a Crime Bookstore online and by order through any of our websites.
There are, in addition to a lot of great writers in Minnesota, a tremendous amount of bookstores.
Yes.
I guess you could say that we are a literate and literary state. But for instance, we happen to be on the 24th of April when we're doing this. On the 25th is a special day.
Independent Bookstore Day. There are at this moment, unless somebody opened one in the last couple of weeks, there's 84 independent bookstores in Minnesota.
Which is amazing for a state that has 6 million,
6 million people. Yeah, it is. I mean, if you live here, you don't realize how unusual that is.
And how lucky you are.
And how lucky we are. I have an example. I have relatives that live in the Coachella Valley in California. That's Palm Springs, Palm Desert. It's about, I don't know what the total population of that is, but it's certainly in excess of 250,000 people. There's not a single independent bookstore in Coachella Valley, as an example of how lucky we are here.
And that says a lot about Minnesota also. Yep. Now you, in addition to this venture, in addition to the 5 people coming together to form Minnesota Mystery Writers. You have also been the entrepreneur, and I consider you a really constant entrepreneur of Minnesota Mystery Night.
It's true.
So tell us about that.
Well, Minnesota Mystery Night is a monthly live event at Lucky's in Mendota. It happens on the third Monday of every month. It is, we bring to a mystery or thriller writer and put them in conversation with someone. People usually assemble about 5:30 for dinner. The conversation starts at 7. Once Upon a Crime bookstore comes in at about 8 and sells the books afterwards. And it's been a real success. We've done it for 3.5 years. We sell out virtually every month. Our venue seats about 80. We've started to bring in some national authors. Craig Johnson, who wrote the Walt Longmire series, will be our guest author on June 15th, in conversation with William Kent Kruger.
Tracy Clark from Chicago.
Tracy was here. Lori Rader Day from Chicago was here. Lou Burney from Oklahoma will be here in the future. But I've tried to bring in a couple of national authors every year now. We're getting a lot of traction and a lot of recognition around the country. It is a year ago, a little more than a year ago now, we segued into a radio show, and now Minnesota Mystery Night. We record it, we edit it, and it turns into a radio show called Masters of Mystery. That's on 9 stations in 3 states right at the moment.
And one of them is AM 950, which is the progressive voice of Minnesota.
That's true. They carry it on I think it's the second Saturday night of the month at 9 p.m. is when they carry the show. That's a spin-off of that. And then we started, I and another fellow named Michael McBride started a company called the Bell Cow Productions, which is, we started that about less than a year ago.
Because you thought you could make a lot of moolah.
Moolah, yeah, we're trying to do a lot of moolah. Actually, it's for moving your books to the marketplace. But we chose the name because of all the puns. Anyway, the whole purpose of the enterprise is to promote independent authors and fiction authors, independent fiction authors. Our first project was we put out a catalog of the complete works of 59 Minnesota fiction writers, you being one of them. It was called the Bell Cow Catalog, and we distributed it to all 370-some libraries in Minnesota and all 80-some independent bookstores, plus the libraries and the bookstores in the contiguous cities like Grand Forks and Sioux Falls and Superior, Wisconsin, and La Crosse and places like that.
And that's been very successful.
It's been very successful, very well received. Our plans are to expand that into Wisconsin in 2027. We have currently running 5 podcast streams right now. We start 2 more in May. So it's a total of 7 podcast streams, all related to books and publishing and marketing, and it's all book, the book industry.
Actually, this show may possibly go to a podcast in the future.
Yeah, I just learned that, yes. So I think that's sort of, radio stations have gone to podcasts now because they're not configured or constricted anymore by the range of their signal.
Right.
If you go to podcast, everybody in the world is your subject matter.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I'm really excited about is Bell Cow introduced in April a new book award called the Moriarty Award, and it is named after Professor Moriarty, who was Sherlock Holmes' nemesis, and it is the first book award to be given to the writer of the best villain or antagonist. We will actually present the first one in the fall of 2027. We are just sort of letting everybody know about it now. We'll start to take entries in January of 2027. But the whole idea is to reward the writers of good villains, because after all, a villain is half the story.
Yeah, in a thriller, you have to have a villain.
Yeah, and the villain doesn't have to be Hannibal Lecter.
Right.
It can be, I can't think, the woman that was the devil in The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, yes.
Meryl Streep played the part.
Right.
I can't think of the name of the character. Or
Matter of fact, Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming
out. That's right. I saw that. And or it can be, your god-awful mother-in-law at Thanksgiving dinner too. So it's anybody who is the antagonist in a book that will be published in 2026 that sticks in your mind, that questions your morals, that really is the epitome of the antagonist, the epitome of
evil,
the evil side of the story. So that's what the Moriarty Award is about, and so we're looking forward to the rollout of that.
Now, you also are a publisher.
True. I published, my publishing company published the Kill Code Collective. My publishing company is called Hawk Hill Literary, and I published my own books through that, and I have published other people's books as well. Speaking
of Hawk Hill Literary, there's a very fascinating once-a-month newsletter that's
true.
Also written by you.
Yep. It's my monthly newsletter is called The View from Middle Spunk Creek. The title kind of reflects the tongue-in-cheek aspect of my writing. I put it out via email on the first of every month. It talks about books and literary stuff, but it also usually talks about something that is completely apart from that, something that might be current in the news, or something that's happening in the Twin Cities, or something that just passes through my sometimes vacant space between my ears, and I decided to write about it.
You've lived in several places in your lifetime.
Yeah.
and of course, you're a Harvard lawyer in addition. But where did you first start to get the inspiration to write books?
I think the inspiration to write books came from my grandchildren, now grown-up adults, grandchildren, but when they were about teenagers. When they were in 4th or 5th grade, for Christmas one year, I gave them the gift of Thursdays with Grandpa. And they both went to the same school. They're a year apart. And I would pick them up after school on Thursday and take them to Cold Stone Creamery and tell stories, ruin their dinner. But we'd have a ball, and I wove them as characters into the stories. But we did that for 2 years. And then they, for some reason, it just, they went into junior high and dynamics changed. But one day we're at a dinner, the whole family, the Grader families at dinner, and they said, "Grandpa, did you ever write any of those stories down?" And I thought to myself, and I had said no. And I thought to myself, that was a mistake. I should have done that. And so that's sort of what triggered the idea to start actually writing more than, writing other than the writing you do, as a profession, as a lawyer. And I was a newspaper writer before I was a lawyer. So writing has always been part of my life.
I was too.
Yeah. Yeah, you and I parallel each other a lot of ways.
Yeah, we really do. Our careers,
our lives,
including moving all over the country, and
both
starting
lawyers.
With newspapers and both lawyers.
Yeah,
and
so, we're just brothers by another mother, that's all.
But we have to make you a Kentucky colonel.
Well, I've got the hats.
That's, that's my latest accomplishment, is being...
You're a Kentucky colonel?
I am a Kentucky colonel.
Congratulations.
For the last year. And I will be happy to propose you as a Kentucky colonel.
I would be flattered.
We have a Bill Raker, whom you know, started the group here in the Midwest, and we've had a year's worth of meetings now, and you would be a great enhancement to the local chapter of the Kentucky Colonels.
I would be flattered to be a part, as long as I don't have to eat too much fried chicken.
No.
Okay, good.
But you get invitations to the Kentucky Derby, though.
Oh, wow. That would be fun.
Costly invitations.
Costly, but nevertheless. I have never been at the Kentucky Derby. I'd love to
Neither
go.
have I.
It'd be one thing to check off the bucket list, I guess.
So you started writing. Now you have one freestanding book and 3 in a series.
Yeah, I have a trilogy.
How do you get going with a series?
Well, that was a mistake. When I wrote the book, the first book in the series is called The Reaper. And it's a story about a painting. It's based in historical fact. A painting by a Spanish artist named Joan Moreau, who I've always been a big fan of, disappeared in 1937. And it is that still missing painting that became sort of the thread of this story. And the painting was named El Segador, which is a Catalan for the farmer or the reaper. So I named the book The Reaper, and I had no idea that it wasn't going to be a standalone. That was my plan, was to write the story of the Reaper, the first half of the story, who wanted the Reaper, because it was painted for the 1937 Paris Exposition, the World's Fair, basically. And who wanted that painting? And then the second part was how that still missing painting became the focal point of a struggle between a painter from St. Paul, an artist from St. Paul, and his very influential, powerful, estranged mother. And so that was the story. And I thought that was the story. And then, unfortunately, the book ended with a murder. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, because you can't end a book with a murder. So I had to write the sequel. I had to write the sequel, which is called The Reaper. And that was solving the murder. And I got about halfway through that one, and I realized that the story wasn't over even after the murder was solved. So the third book is called Judgment Day. And the third book is the story of the woman who is charged with the murder, arrested for and charged with the murder, from the time she's arrested.
Now they're freestanding, but
you can read them.
But they are a series, which is the same as my Mort and Danny books are.
Right. Yes, they are. You can pick them up and you can read them separately. I think, as with your books, I think because of the development of the characters and learning their personalities, they're better if you start from the beginning and you read them all. You understand Danny better or Mort better. And the same thing, I think, in this one. But there's nothing that says you can't pick up Judgment Day and read it and understand it and enjoy it and fully.
I've been writing since I'm 12 years old, basically. In newspapers, everything, business writing,
Sure.
teaching, practicing law, doing a lot of appellate work. But I always had writing a novel on my bucket list. And my bucket list is kind of old already.
But you've accomplished that part many times.
I'll be 92 this summer. And we'll talk about that more toward the end.
Okay.
But so I wrote Holding Court,
Mm-hmm.
which is about the kidnapping of a Supreme Court justice. And I thought that was it.
Well, it was a really good book.
It
is a really good book.
It got a pretty good reception.
Yep.
And the publisher said, okay, what's the next one? Well, I didn't know there was going to be a next one.
Yeah. So,
And then there was the second one with the same characters and the third one with the same characters. And right now, Incident in Budapest is with the line editor. And I hope that it'll be out in time for summer reading this summer. So
that's awesome. Awesome. This Kill Code Collective was fairly, because I was a publisher as well, I was fairly time consuming. I've got a book in the works, but it's been in the works for a long time. I'm about 35,000 words into it. Hopefully sometime this summer I'll get back to the writing part of it.
Well, you have so many things on your plate that I don't understand how you accomplish everything that you do. I mean, we've talked about many of them here.
Associate yourself with good people. that's, I mean, literally without the people I associate myself with, they would just be ideas and thoughts and nothing would ever happen.
How long does it take you to write a book? Say the books in your series.
About 10 to 11 months to write a first draft. Another 6, 7, 8 months to get it in a situation where it's probably ready to go to the printer. And then it usually takes another 4 to 6 months from that point because you need lead time to get it seeded into the marketing, distribution system. So it's totally from the time you push that first key on your keyboard until the book is available on a bookshelf someplace, 2 to 2.5 years.
And you have to have patience with that process.
Well, plus you've got a life besides.
And 2025 was a health year for me.
Yeah.
It was a lot of hospitalizations and other things and a heart attack, et cetera. So that was not a writing year.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to rush my latest book at the end of 25, and first readers took a look at it and screamed, including yourself. So we had to really do some substantial rewrite, and I did. And it'll be out hopefully in about 2 months.
But that's what we do. I mean,
That's
the fact
what we
is,
do.
if you're an author, or if you want to be an author and you're thin-skinned, if you can't take criticism, you can't take rejection, pick another avenue, because as authors we are constantly facing that rejection, criticism, second guessing, but you take it and you absorb it.
If you're married, you're used to rejection. But
I'm not going to go there, But the reality is that those things make you a better writer. Make me a better writer. Anybody, if you listen to the people who care, and in addition to having a large, very talented community, literary community in Minnesota, we have a great community of people that help each other,
and
that
these
reach out.
critiques are very helpful in many respects.
And
So
the critiques and in marketing, and I mean, people are willing to help. Kent Kruger wrote a blurb for our book. He did a review of our book. I mean, I don't know that happens every other place in the world, but it does here.
actually, we've gone through almost the entire time that we have for this interview, half hour, once a month, and
It's been a pleasure.
I think that now is the time for me to mention that what I am doing, as I reach back, I'm passing the hat to Rob.
I am.
Because I will be 92 in July, and it's time for me to step back. I've watched a couple of my interviews lately, and I said it's time for me to step back from this, do an occasional interview, an occasional Access to Democracy, and turn this over into your very, very good hands.
Well, I am flattered. I'm excited. I thank you. You've been nice enough to let me guest host this a few times last year when you were having health issues. I think it's a great program.
You didn't know that those were tryouts.
I did not. I should probably go back and look at them and figure out how I can improve them. Thank you for the hat, because as you know, and as my family and friends and fans know, I wear hats all the time. That's kind of my signature. So I am pleased to accept the passage of the hat. I think you are going to be around for a couple more yet.
Well, let's hope so.
Okay.
And we've been interviewing Rob Jung, writer and everything else. You've heard quite a bit about him, and you're going to really enjoy the continuation of this program after 3 years under his tutelage. Rob, thank you so much.
Ellen, thank you. It's been a pleasure.